Pertussis, also known as whooping cough, is a particularly brutal and painful infection. Caused by the bacteria Bordetella pertussis, whooping cough infects millions of people around the world and leads to tens of thousands of deaths every year. About 10 days or more after the infection, the patient will start to feel symptoms that are typical of the common cold. Except where the cold typically gets better after a week or two, whooping cough gets worse. The airways get clogged with mucus, causing extreme coughing fits that are uncontrollable and extremely uncomfortable. And this can cause inflammation of the airway, which can make breathing a lot more difficult, and it makes coughing a lot more painful. The coughing fits can be so violent that it actually leads to vomiting, extreme fatigue, and breathing difficulties. The disease mostly affects children and young teenagers, and it most frequently kills infants. All of these demographics are much too young to have gotten all of the vaccinations against whooping cough, and so they are tragically susceptible. Recently, an Australian research team has discovered how the Bordetella pertussis strains are adapting to the current vaccine used in Australia. This vaccine is similar to other vaccines used around the world, so if Australia is experiencing a growing threat from drug-resistant pertussis, the rest of the world is also at risk. The scientists found that the bacterial strains were producing fewer immunogenic proteins than older strains, which would suggest that they face less stress from the immune system of their hosts. In other words, these pathogens were becoming more stealthy. They could better avoid being detected and destroyed by a macrophage or some other kind of immune cell. These strains were also producing more proteins involved in binding nutrients, and transport proteins involved in shuttling vesicles and other materials around the cell, suggesting that they were becoming better scavengers. In essence, these newer pertussis strains are becoming more stealthy and more efficient, allowing them to avoid detection while being better scavengers, better thieves of their host nutrients. This is really dangerous, because people could be carriers of the bacteria while showing no symptoms. Because they don't know that they're infected, they won't take preventative measures, and so the bacteria is able to spread rapidly. Lawrence Liu is a microbiologist from UNSW, and he said, quote, "We found the whooping cough strains were evolving to improve their survival, regardless of whether a person was vaccinated or not. Put simply, the bacteria that cause whooping cough are becoming better at hiding and better at feeding. They're morphing into a superbug." Unquote. This research follows similar discoveries, like when the Australian scientists found that certain Chinese strains of Bordetella pertussis were evolving a resistance to the vaccine by not expressing the membrane protein protactin. This is the surface protein that the vaccine targets. So when the strains evolve to not express protactin, the vaccine can't see them, it can't react with them, and so it can't kill them. The bacteria can stay hidden from the immune system, and they're able to sneak away. Fortunately, the strains of bacteria that cause whooping cough are not yet a superbug. Resistance to the vaccines is not yet widespread, but this won't be true forever. Eventually, the drug resistance will become widespread, and we'll need to develop new vaccines to counter this evolving bacteria. It will be yet another arms race that we have to fight with a pathogenic bacteria as we head onwards into this new era of antibiotic resistance and superbugs.